Stop watering your plants like this. Most plants are not killed by gardeners who ignore them. They are killed by gardeners who are trying to help. A leaf droops, so we add water. The next morning, we water again just to be safe. The surface looks dry, so we assume the entire pot is dry. Or we follow the same schedule every day, regardless of the weather, the plant, or the size of the container. Water feels harmless. It is natural, essential, and because plants cannot survive without it, giving a little more seems safer than giving too little. But inside a container, water changes everything. It controls how much oxygen reaches the roots. It affects nutrient movement. It influences root temperature, microbial activity, disease pressure, and even whether a plant can absorb the fertilizer already sitting in the soil. The question is not simply whether you water your plants. The real question is whether you understand what happens after the water enters the pot. Here are 7 watering mistakes that can slowly damage a container, garden, and the clues that tell you when it is time to change what you are doing. Mistake 1. Watering by the calendar. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or perhaps every morning before work. A fixed watering schedule feels organized, but plants do not live according to calendars. Their water use changes constantly. A small seedling may use very little water. Several weeks later, the same plant may have 10 times the leaf area and a much larger root system. A cool, cloudy day can reduce water loss. A hot afternoon with strong wind can empty a container surprisingly quickly. A plastic pot may retain moisture differently from terracotta. A large container behaves differently from a tiny one. So a schedule that was perfect last week can be wrong today. Instead of asking, "Is today watering day?" ask, "Does this plant need water?" Check the growing medium below the surface. For smaller pots, learn how the container feels when freshly watered and how much lighter it becomes as it dries. Observe the plant. Observe the weather. Watering should respond to conditions, not the date printed on a calendar. Mistake 2. Trusting the surface. The top of a pot can be deceptive. Sunlight and moving air dry the surface first. The upper half-inch may look dusty while the root zone below remains comfortably moist. If you water every time the surface changes color, the deeper layers may never have a chance to drain and reintroduce enough air. The opposite can happen too. A crusted or hydrophobic surface may make watering look successful while water runs down gaps near the edge of the container without evenly moistening the root ball. So do not only look, investigate. Push a finger into the mix when appropriate. Use a wooden skewer or similar simple tool in deeper containers. Learn the weight of movable pots. The goal is to understand moisture where active roots actually live. A plant does not care whether the top of the pot looks dry. It cares about the environment surrounding its roots. Mistake 3. Watering too often. Roots need water. They also need oxygen. A healthy potting mix contains pore spaces. After watering, some fill with moisture. As excess water drains and the mix begins to dry, air returns to those spaces. That cycle matters. If the container remains saturated for too long, oxygen availability around the roots declines. Root function suffers. The plant may begin to wilt. Leaves may yellow. Growth may slow. And the gardener sees the wilt and makes the worst possible assumption. More water. This is how overwatering can disguise itself as thirst. The plant is not necessarily wilting because there is no water in the pot. It may be wilting because damaged, oxygen-starved roots are no longer functioning normally. Before watering a wilted plant, check the soil. If it is already wet, stop. Look at drainage. Look at the potting mix. Look at the roots if necessary. Water is medicine only when lack of water is the problem. Mistake 4. Giving tiny sips. Some gardeners are so afraid of overwatering that they move to the opposite extreme. A little splash today, another small splash tomorrow. The surface becomes damp, but water may never penetrate deeply through the root zone. Over time, roots can become concentrated near the upper layers, and parts of the growing medium may remain chronically dry. When a container genuinely needs water, the goal is usually to moisten the root zone thoroughly and allow excess water to drain away. Then wait until the plant and growing medium indicate that another watering is needed. Deep watering does not mean keeping the pot permanently soaked. It means watering effectively when you do water. There is an important difference. Frequent shallow sips can create unstable moisture conditions. A thorough watering followed by an appropriate drying interval often encourages a more functional root environment. The exact interval depends on the plant and conditions. That is why observation remains more useful than rigid rules. Mistake 5. Letting the pot go from desert to swamp. Now imagine the opposite cycle. The gardener forgets to water. The plant wilts dramatically. The growing medium becomes extremely dry. Then, out of guilt, the gardener floods the container. Several days later, the same thing happens again. Dry, flooded, dry, flooded. Plants can survive occasional stress, but repeated extremes are difficult. Consistent moisture is especially important for many fruiting vegetables. Large swings can contribute to stress, flower drop, poor growth, and some fruit disorders. Very dry peat-based mixes can also become difficult to re-wet evenly. Water may initially run through channels rather than soaking the entire root ball. If a container has become extremely dry, rehydrate it patiently. Apply water slowly. Allow time for absorption. Then water again if necessary until the root zone is evenly moistened. An excess water can drain. The goal is not to punish the plant with drought and rescue it with a flood. The goal is to prevent both extremes. Mistake 6. Ignoring drainage. You can have a perfect watering technique and still fail if the water has nowhere to go. Every conventional vegetable container needs adequate drainage. Check the holes. Roots, compacted soil, saucers, and debris can interfere with drainage. If water remains trapped at the bottom, the lower root zone may stay saturated long after the surface appears normal. But drainage is not only about holes. The potting mix matters too. Dense garden soil placed in a container can compact and hold water differently from a purpose-built container mix. This is why adding a drainage hole does not magically transform heavy soil into ideal potting media. The container and the growing medium work together. And there is another common misunderstanding. Adding a layer of rocks or gravel to the bottom of a pot does not automatically improve drainage through the root zone. A well-structured growing medium and functional drainage holes are far more important. Build the root environment correctly from the beginning. It is much easier than trying to rescue suffocating roots later. Mistake 7. Watering every plant the same way. A rosemary plant and a cucumber plant do not experience water in the same way. Neither do a tiny herb and a mature tomato covered in fruit. Different species evolved under different conditions. Different root systems explore different volumes of soil. Different leaves lose water at different rates. Even two identical plants can require different watering if one grows in full sun and the other receives afternoon shade. This is why a single watering rule for the entire garden is convenient for the gardener, but not necessarily good for the plants. Group plants with similar needs when possible. Pay special attention to thirsty fruiting vegetables during hot weather. Allow plants that prefer drier conditions to move through an appropriate drying cycle. And remember that plant size changes the equation. A young cucumber in a large pot may stay moist for days. A mature cucumber in that same pot may require dramatically more frequent attention. The plant you watered in May is not the same plant you are watering in July. The time of day question. Gardeners often ask for the single perfect hour to water. Morning is generally a useful time. Temperatures are cooler. The plant can enter the day well supplied with moisture, and foliage that becomes wet has more opportunity to dry. But timing is less important than preventing severe water stress. If a plant is dangerously dry on a hot afternoon, do not refuse to water. It's simply because the clock says it is not morning. Give the roots what they need. What is worth avoiding, when practical, is repeatedly soaking foliage late in the day or at night in conditions where leaves remain wet for long periods. Many plant diseases benefit from prolonged leaf wetness and high humidity. For container vegetables, directing water toward the growing medium rather than routinely showering the entire plant can reduce unnecessary leaf wetness. Again, the goal is not obedience to a rule. It is understanding why the rule exists. The finger test is useful, but not magic. You may have heard the advice to push a finger 1 or 2 inches into the soil. It is a useful starting point, but it is not perfect for every container. A very deep pot may still hold substantial moisture below the depth your finger reaches. A small container may dry almost completely. Different potting mixes feel different. This is why experienced gardeners combine clues: touch, weight, drainage behavior, leaf condition, weather, plant size, container size. Over time, these signals become familiar. You begin to know that one tomato pot becomes light after 2 hot days. You learn that the herb container stays moist much longer. You notice that the cucumber uses twice as much water after the vines cover the trellis. This is not intuition in the mysterious sense. It is accumulated observation. Mulch changes the equation. A layer of organic mulch on top of a container can reduce evaporation from the soil surface. That can be extremely useful during hot weather. But it also means the surface may no longer provide the same visual clues. The container can stay moist longer. So if you add mulch, your watering habits may need to change. This is a perfect example of why gardening systems cannot be managed one piece at a time. Change the pot. Watering changes. Change the soil. Watering changes. Add mulch. Watering changes. The correct watering frequency is not a number. It is the result of the entire system. The 7-point watering check. Before you pick up the watering can, ask 7 questions. 1. Is the root zone actually dry, or does only the surface look dry? 2. How heavy does the container feel compared with after a thorough watering? 3. Has the weather been hotter, cooler, windier, or cloudier than usual? 4. Has the plant grown significantly larger since you established your watering routine? 5. Does excess water drain freely from the container? 6. Does this particular plant prefer consistently moist conditions or a stronger drying interval? 7. What happened after the last watering? Did the plant recover? Did it remain wilted? Did the soil stay wet for days? Those answers are more valuable than any universal instruction telling you to water every 2 or 3 days. When the plant starts talking, a gardener who only looks at leaves sees water problems late. A gardener who learns to read the container can often see them earlier. The pot becomes lighter. The growing medium changes texture. Drainage slows as soil structure changes. A mature plant begins consuming water faster. The weather shifts. Roots fill the container. These are quiet signals, and they are constantly changing. The goal is not to create a garden that never experiences stress. That is impossible. The goal is to notice the direction the system is moving before a small imbalance becomes a major problem. The most important watering rule. After all these mistakes, you might expect one final formula. Water this many times. Use this much water. Wait exactly this long. But there is no number that works for every plant, every pot, every climate, and every season. The most important watering rule is simpler. Water the root environment you actually have, not the one you imagine you have. Check before you water. When watering is needed, water effectively. Allow drainage. Then observe how the plant and soil respond before doing it again. That is the rhythm. Not dry forever. Not wet forever. A changing balance between water and air. Once you understand that balance, watering becomes less about routine and more about communication. You stop treating every wilted leaf as a request for water. You stop assuming a dry surface means dry roots. You stop giving every plant the same drink at the same time. And slowly, the garden changes. Roots become stronger. Leaves remain healthier. Plants recover more predictably from hot days. Flowers stay on the plant. Fruit develops with fewer stress-related interruptions. Not because you discovered a secret product. Not because you bought a smarter watering can. But because you began paying attention to what happened beneath the surface. Water is essential to every garden. But more water is not more care. Better observation is. So before you water your plants tomorrow, do one thing differently. Do not begin with the watering can. Begin with the soil. Then let the roots tell you what comes next.